That's recording.
Good evening, colleagues. Welcome to the meeting of the Executive Cabinet Member and Deputy Leaders portfolio. We've got a single item agenda, and it is Pickups Fields, Green Lane lower part, lease to the Old Rivingtonians Sports Club. Are you taking this, Andrew or Lee?
It's actually our colleague Justin who's going to.
Oh, is Justin on? Is Justin on?
I'm here.
Hi, Justin. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't see. You had the agenda on the screen, so yeah, go on.
Thank you, Chair. I think my screen's gone a bit funny, so can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone a bit robotic, but I might just have to turn my camera off if that's okay. You still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Obviously, we're here for the site that is known as Green Lane Playing Fields Lower, or Pickups Fields. There's an opportunity to create a new lease to Old Rivingtonians for the purposes of creating a football pitch there. It will give them potentially a 10-year lease at a reduced rent from the market value of £2,500, reduced by 60% to £1,500 per annum. That will give them the opportunity, with a 10-year lease, to have security of 10 years for the next 10 years to do what they need to do to build a new changing room, which they've got sort of, I think they called it the huddle, which is sort of flat packed and ready to go, but also gives the opportunity to sort of invest in the site if need be as well. So we've been working on this in the background. We've had lots of support from Councillor Grant, and obviously we've been trying to sort of make sure, obviously, that we get this through and construct it in a way that gives the club what they need for future needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions, comments, colleagues? Yeah, I'll come to you, David. David Grant, Councillor Grant.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to say thank you for getting this past the post. Finally, it's taken 2 years. I am hoping that going forward, the second part of this phase, which of course is the charitable land panel, doesn't take this long, and we can work out a better deal for the whole pitch to be invested in for the future. Just as a side note, going through this process, I think there needs to be, and thank you, Akhtar, for finally getting this on your agenda. I forgot to start with that. Thank you for finally getting it past the post. I think there needs to be, particularly these low values, some sort of discretion for officers or the borough solicitor, whoever, to actually think about it. We've spent, I don't know, 3 or 4 surveys over the 2 years, however many thousands that's cost to justify a £1,000 undervalue. It seems a lot of wasted resource, time, money. I think you're about the third or fourth officer, Justin, that's worked on this. So no, nothing against you. It just seems to be like Groundhog Day. So if you put together all the officer hours, all the time involved, all the money to try and justify a £1,000 undervalue, which, because it's taken 2 years, they've missed out on tens of thousands of pounds worth of investment into those fields, investment into the grassroots clubs. It just seems really clunky, and it's something we need to work at in the future to speed up. Thank you, everybody, though, for getting it past the line. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Grant. Councillor Wilkinson, then Councillor Warren, and then Councillor Mumford.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with David about timescales. It's just something I've talked about other issues as well, and we've really got to review everything. I know Lee said a while at last meeting that we're going to have a look at how we do things, but it's too slow, and it frustrates people. Just in terms of the lease, because I've dealt with other people about leases, and 10 years sounds a lot of time, but it soon goes in reality in terms of a sporting club. And I'm just wondering where they stand with a rollover, because I presume we're not selling the land or anything. I don't know. It doesn't say in the report, but a lot of funding organisations want to see a 30-year arrangement. FA and lottery, etc. They want to see long-term leases. How does this organisation go on for that? And can I just ask, are we looking at this as almost standard operating procedure. If we have a similar type of club or organisation that comes in, to give them a starting chance, you know, to build up to full-time rent. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Councillor Wilkinson. Councillor Grant, did you want to come in before I?
Yeah, I think I could probably answer several of those questions for the officers beforehand, because I've had like I say, it's been taking so long. This lease was 10 years because it was basically, the idea was to get it done quickly. It was to get it past the post, because both sides of the fields, one side is charitable land, which added complexity to it. So we split them up and said, the non-charitable half, just get it over the line and start the investment, and then we could work on the charitable side. And once that's done, the idea is then to marry them up. And hopefully, I understand, and the officers will probably come in, there's been some negotiations with the FA and stuff about what they require from the pitches. So the idea is then to offer them a greater lease for a longer period of time once the two fields are married up. That's my interpretation of it, but I'll hand it over to the officers. Thank you.
I'll bring Councillor Warren in if Justin, there isn't anything that you would like to add. Do you want to come in before I bring Councillor Warren in?
No, I'll come to that question at the end. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Warren?
Thanks, Chair. I think that the paper is very sensible. I think it's a sensible approach to a club that obviously wants to invest and wants to do good things for the area. I do kind of echo, though, what has already been said in terms of timescales. And I know a lot of that is red tape, it's legal matters, it's to justify that it's right for the taxpayer, to justify that there's value there, etc. But it's just such a long process, and it really does need to be tightened so that other clubs and other facilities that are in this situation don't have to go through it as long. And it is really, really frustrating, because there would have been funding opportunities that they would have missed out on. And not just that as well, if you've got clubs that are just in limbo, it's very difficult to invest for the future. So I do really think that, almost like a protocol and a tick box, you know, if yes, we can do this, no, we can't, that could really speed things up, I think would be much appreciated in the future. Thank you. Thanks,
Councillor Warren. Very, very, very valid points. Absolutely. Councillor Bamford?
Yes. I think this is an amazing thing coming towards the people of Horwich and the outside areas, because, as we know, when the huddle comes in, the huddle was the building that was donated to us from Northstone, which has been flat packed and is just waiting to go up. However, my only concern is I met officers on site on the 29th of January, and we were discussing the drainage issues that are actually present on the field. They are now looking at options of what we're going to do with the drainage, because once the drainage is fixed, then we can fix the path. I'm hoping and I'm assuming these plans can still go ahead with no negative effect towards this lease being signed going ahead, because I'd hate for this lease to be delayed just because we're trying to fix the drainage, which has subsequently been damaged due to the building up on the top end of Pickups Fields and other such items, which unfortunately has left to the field being unusable, should we say, in certain times of the year in certain areas.
Thank you. Justin, did you want to come in? No.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just obviously share your frustration as a parent of 3 children who play football in the borough. I'm used to standing on sort of waterlogged pitches and having to clean football boots and football kit after a very waterlogged heavy game of football. So yes, we're trying to do the right thing. We've been we're in the process of obviously going through our processes. We've got the strategic asset management plan, which is dated till 2020 to 2025, which has a lot of our policies and procedures in there. So we're in the process. We'll be reviewing things over the next few months, and obviously probably by the end of the year have a sort of maybe a different approach how we go about things. But that's something that we need to be working as officers together across corporate, property and legal and other services as well, to sort of see if there's anything we can do to help with the process internally. There are constraints, obviously, dealing with public property, leasing property. No 2 football pitches are the same. There's covenants and restrictions on some open space, for example, where you can't necessarily sort of do any sort of physical building on the site, but certainly things like drainage and support for our clubs, obviously, and where we can do, we will sort of help and support. And we do aim to sort of get better. We have got meetings in the diary with the Football Association and the Football Federation and other organisations, and we're also working with health and care and public health in terms of finding other ways and other avenues for clubs to find funding. So it's not just about sort of football, but also other sports and access to healthier lifestyles. So lots happening on in the background. I do appreciate your feedback and your frustrations. It is noted, and obviously we are proud to sort of obviously make this recommendation to ECM today.
Thank you. Councillor Bamforth?
Apologies, just to clarify, so any works that are going to be done on the field in regard to the drainage isn't going to affect the lease or delay the lease in any form of way, I hope. That was my question, sorry.
Justin, did you?
I'm not aware of any work that's happening at the moment that will be getting in the way of dealing with the lease. The lease obviously is a technical thing. If there's anything that we need to be aware of, obviously then that's fine, bring it to us. But
yeah,
in terms
no,
of the
I just
actual
wanted
sort
to,
of the legal side.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if the environmental department had been in contact with you because it was Gary Parker that had arranged for a meeting with myself and Neil up on site, and it was agreed that measures need to be taken because there was elements of the field that was pretty much a swimming pool, if I'm honest with you.
Right.
And I just wanted to make sure that we were aware of that here so that it just didn't have any negative effect. I didn't imagine it would, but I just wanted to make sure that it didn't.
I don't know if that will have an effect on the actual sort of preparation of the lease, but if there is anything, obviously we'll let you know and work with you on that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. I just wanted to say, as you're aware, I have recently taken up this portfolio. I share your frustration and some of the concerns that you expressed, and I'm working with Lee, Andrew, and Justin to ensure that we do not see the repeat of these things, and hopefully put systems in place to deal with these things systematically. But we are dealing with public property, so we have to ensure that we are following the due process. Councillor Grant, did you want to say anything? Sorry.
Just briefly, now I know you're about to approve this. Can I ask Helen how far we are, or when we might envisage the charitable land panel to be set up for the second half? You're not going to be bugging you about that one now.
No, that's fine. I think Justin might have more information than I have. The last conversation I had was that when we know when we're going to have the surveyors report in, to get in touch with Democratic Services, and we can line up a charitable land panel for when that report is ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, the report came in a couple of weeks ago, I think, for the valuation report came in. So we'll obviously sense check and make sure that's suitable for the charitable land panel. But we've had the title checks, I think, as well. So we're just in the process of making sure that we've got all our facts gathered, so we can then set a date. We want to be prepared for it. We don't want to sort of do anything, obviously, that when we're not prepared. So I'm working with Ellen's team.
Right. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to approve as recommended in the report, and thank you for your attendance, and I hope you have a very nice evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Everyone.
Bye.